Welcome to another session in our series, Mentorship for Career Elevation. My name is Abhijit, and on behalf of Mentor Cloud, let me welcome you to this educational mastermind series. Today's topic is about optimizing your job search. And just a quick shout out for and thank you to Mentor Cloud for sponsoring these sessions. If you'd like to register for this series, please go to mentorcloud.com/MCE, which stands for Mentorship for Career Elevation. So go to mentorcloud.com/MCE to register for these sessions. A little bit about Mentor Cloud. Mentor Cloud is a SaaS platform that companies are using to grow their own capabilities and performance of their teams through guided mentorship. And many world-class companies have signed up and they're achieving breakthrough business performance using Mentor Cloud software. So please, you can sign up and find out more at mentorcloud.com. A little bit about me. My name is Abhijit. I'm a tech executive here in Silicon Valley. I'm the author of a book called Unlock, which helps people with their career leadership. I'm also a mentor with Mentor Cloud. In today's session, we're going to go through the job search process, and we're going to learn a little bit about how to get into a much more optimized job search that saves you time, that saves you effort, and quite frankly, it makes it much better. And quite frankly, job search can be sometimes a lonely and a disappointing process. So we are here to help you actually make it way better and actually enjoyable. So in the next 20 plus minutes, we're going to get into what does spray and pray look like, how should we approach your job search, and then get into a much more of a targeted job search so that you can actually optimize it and get results and get into your new job in less amount of time. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about spray and pray. And this is something that might surprise you, but a whole bunch of people actually do their job search in their bed. They actually are on their phones and they are looking for jobs, and they might be on the phone or maybe at their office or commuting, which probably doesn't happen as much in the pandemic times. The point is, people are constantly looking for jobs when they're in their job search. And what they do with that search is they do a spray and pray. They look at all the jobs that they see online, and then they send out hundreds and hundreds of resumes to all of these companies. Unfortunately, spray and pray does not work because we are trying to be everyone to every company without really looking into whether this job is really meant for me, or do I have an edge over competitors for this particular role? And because of that, spray and pray does not land jobs. Another thing is, published jobs are only a fraction of the real job market, right? So if you really wanted a good job, then most of those jobs are actually not published. So think about this. We are trying to target published jobs, and most of the jobs out there are actually not online or they're not published. So spray and pray does not really work. And what happens is then job search becomes mentally draining and emotionally draining, and this creates challenges, and it creates more loneliness, it creates disappointment. But there is a better way to go about your job search, and let's figure out how do we do that. It's called flipping the funnel, right? So rather than doing a spray and pray, we actually focus our job search. We can achieve much faster and better results because now we can have a more focused job search. So let's discuss how we can focus and optimize our job search. The way to do that and the steps to doing a much more focused job search is by having these particular steps, which is having a targeted strategy. So we target specific areas for a job search, become very aware of what that job search process looks like, having an elevator pitch for your job search so that rather than sending your resume, you're just sending a summary of yourself, then having a digital brand or an updated LinkedIn profile so that when people look you up online, they know what you stand for, and that you're establishing credibility online, right? So having these things will help you incredibly in your job search. So a couple of ways that you can go about developing a targeted strategy. It is all about developing a natural advantage for yourself, right? So think about areas where you have specific domain knowledge, areas where you have strength, right? And in one of our prior Mentor Cloud Mentorship for Career Elevation series sessions, we had talked about self-awareness. So you can go back and look at that session to understand where you have strengths and how you can leverage your strengths, right? So this will give you a natural advantage in your job search because now you're leveraging your strengths. Another one is targeting specific roles where you have a natural advantage. Maybe you have some experience in that space, maybe you have certain unique capabilities, certain skills in that space that give you a natural advantage. And those in those roles, you'll have way more advantage over others because now you're playing to your natural advantage, right? And then this is one of my favorites, which is targeting specific competitors. See, everyone loves to hire from a competitor, and you can use that to your advantage. So when you're doing your job search, if we can focus on competitors to your current company or competitors to your prior companies, or if you're serving certain customers, competitors to your customers, you will actually create an amazing advantage for yourself by targeting those competitors. So that way you create all of these natural advantages. And then if you can identify your target industry, your target market, and your target role based on these things, you automatically put yourself at an advantage over others by having a much more optimized job search. To do this, we'll get into how can you develop a target market and target roles. By creating this targeted strategy, we can identify certain advantages that you have in the job market. So this creates an edge for you as you go about in your job search. For example, you can have specific domains or areas where you're more valuable, i.e., you can leverage your strengths. So naturally, you will have an edge over others when it comes to job search. In one of our prior sessions, we talked about self awareness. So make sure to go back and look at the self awareness topics to figure out where you have those strengths, because leveraging those strengths creates a natural advantage for yourself in the job search process. Another one is looking at specific roles where you have an advantage, whether you have an advantage of experience, of skills, of capabilities. And that's again an area where you create a natural advantage for yourself by focusing on just those specific roles. And another one, which is one of my favorites, is looking at competitors, because almost every company likes to hire from their competitor. So if you can target your prior company's competitor, your existing company's competitor, or if you're working with a lot of customers, target your customers' competitors, right? And once you do that, you will start to see that there is a natural pull for to get you in as a candidate because companies just like to hire from competitors, right? And so by creating this targeted strategy, you can have a better chance and quite frankly, a faster job search process. So you have to identify your target industry, your target market, and your target role. And by doing this targeted search, you actually create those advantages for yourself in job search. Okay. Now let's look at how do we actually create this job search strategy? How can we take advantage of this strategy by creating a real job search plan? So when we talk about creating a strategy, let's create a plan which consists of two things: a target market and target role, right? And these are based on your strengths, based on your experience, based on your capabilities and skill sets, and also the competitor view. So let's look at how can we create this job search targeted strategy. right? So you can do this in a Google spreadsheet or an Excel or any of your favorite tools. But the way to start about this is start looking at what is going to be your target role based on your strengths, right? So role one, maybe there's role two, role three, maybe there's multiple roles that you'd like to target. Which industry are you playing in, whether you're playing in healthcare or financial services or tech or any of those, and then look at which employers or clients that you would like to target. And then, most importantly, make a list of those competitors to that employer, to that client. It could even be competitors to your current company, your prior company, or competitors to your customers. And that way you have a really, really nice list of maybe 30, 40, even 50 companies that you are going to go after. This is your target set of companies. This is where you're going to focus your job search rather than doing spray and pray. By focusing on specific set of employers and clients and customers, you can actually have a much, much better chance of cracking the job search because now you're focusing on specific roles within specific companies, right? So this gives you your targeted strategy. So how do we get from a targeted strategy where you have identified 30, 40, 50 companies to an actual interview where you get into informational interviews? So let's look at the techniques that are going to get you to those interviews. So first is you fill up the target sheet and you start using that sheet to focus on your target market. Then you prospect those companies. You look at those target companies and see for your role, what are those opportunities and challenges within those companies, and connect using your personal network. You use your personal network on LinkedIn, on your all of your messaging apps, etc., and you start to get into conversations with those companies. For example, if you're trying to interview at Charles Schwab, if you're trying to interview at Facebook, or if you're trying to interview at any company that is in your target market, figure out who amongst your friends can help you get to a conversation. All you're trying to do is get to a conversation within those companies, right? So figure out within your personal and professional network who can get you into a conversation, because now you have your target companies. Figure out who in your personal network can connect you to those target companies and get into those conversations. Also target recruiters who are recruiting for that company. And that way you can get into specific conversations, verbal or written conversations over email, so that you can establish relationships in those companies and you have a story to tell. The point is that because of this target sheet, you focus on job search, which is prospect and connect, so that you can get to interviews. Getting to those interviews is so, so, so important. So you start to prospect and connect with your target sheet. So the way you do that is you look up those companies, you look up for intelligent information, you can look up announcements from those companies, you identify the opportunities and challenges within those companies, and also see if they've posted any job requirements lately. If they've posted job requirements, that gives you a really good idea of what that company is hiring for. And now what you can do is start reaching out to those targets. So build relationships on those companies and ask for a phone call. Hey, can you spare, let's say, 20 minutes to have a phone call with me or a Zoom call with me, and ask for that meeting, right? And go into that meeting prepared. Think about what are the problems and opportunities that you'd like to discuss. Share some of your personal experiences, some stories that you have that relate to problems and opportunities in those companies. Share any tools, techniques that you have to offer for those companies. In that 10-minute meeting, that 20-minute meeting, ask for information and provide relevant experience. Towards the end, it's okay to say that you wouldn't mind exploring job opportunities with that company. See, what happens is when we go in and just say, hey, I'm looking for a job and I need some time, most of the times people kind of shut down and they may not provide you access. But if you just say, hey, I'm looking to network with someone in this space and I'm looking to share some information, more than likely people will actually open their networks for you. So look for a meeting rather than saying, hey, I'm trying to do a job search, right? Just look for a meeting and just say, I want to share some ideas. I want to share some information. And that way, more people will open up doors for you as you start to get into that target. When you're having that informational conversation, there are three things that most companies are looking for. So this is not the actual interview, but this is sort of the informational. This is sort of get to know you a little bit better type of a conversation, right? So the three things that companies look for or any individual would look for is ACE, which is A stands for ability, C is for cultural fit, and E is for eagerness or that hunger that you might have for that particular job opportunity. So A is for ability. So in your conversation, let's say you have a 20-minute conversation with someone, it's an informational get to know you interview. A is for ability. They're definitely looking to see, is this person able to solve my problem or, take advantage of this opportunity? Does this person have the ability? Second is cultural fit, which is this person someone who's going to be good to work in this team, someone who has the right cultural fit, someone who is collaborative, who is communicative, who is empathetic, and things like that. So is this person a really good cultural fit for our company and our organization? And then eagerness, is this person really eager for this job? Is this person really trying to solve the problem? And that is going to be reflected in your conversation. So when companies have these informational get to know you meetings, ACE is the way to stand out. Make sure you're showing your ability, make sure you're showing that you're a good cultural fit for that organization and that you're eager, you're hungry to make a difference in that company, in that organization. So in summary, this is how you optimize your job search with a targeted strategy. So let me pause here for some questions from the audience. So Sahishna, feel free to ask some questions. I'm happy to answer them. And then I'm going to share one more thing before you get into some Q&A. So Sahishna, feel free to ask some questions.
I don't have any questions for now.
Yep, no worries. So as we get into our last session, our last page here, one thing to remember is that LinkedIn is your friend. As you have these target roles and focused job search that will optimize your time, your effort, make sure those target roles are reflected in your LinkedIn. Make sure that it is compatible. So when you're reaching out to those companies and connecting with them and focusing on your job search, your LinkedIn should be 100% aligned to your message, to your targeted role, so that when people look you up on LinkedIn, they see the same language, they see the same message, and they know that you are a credible person and they will open doors for you in this job search. So wish you all the very best for your job search as you look to optimize your job search and quite frankly, make this a focused job search.
Uh,
Having
Hi,
a
Vijay,
targeted,
can you show an example for this? Like, how do you set the your LinkedIn profile?
yeah, absolutely. So for example, let's say one of my target roles is to be a product manager at a tech company, right? So in my targeted role and my target sheet for job search, I'll say my target role is project product manager. I want to work in the tech industry. So if you look here on the left-hand side, we're talking about the industry. So I'm going to say tech industry. And let's say my prior employer was, let's pick a company name. Um, um, let's say my current company, I work at a fintech startup, right? Then I'll list all of the competitors to my current company over here, and that becomes part of my job search, right? And if that is my job search, That is my target market and my target employers. I want to make sure that when I'm on my LinkedIn, I make sure that I shape my LinkedIn profile towards that targeted job search, towards those fintech companies, which means my headline should reflect my interest and my work in fintech. My detailed description on my LinkedIn should talk about fintech and all of the great work as a product manager I've done at fintech. And then last but not the least, my banner, which is at the back of your LinkedIn, should support all of those things. Maybe I can put some brand names of LinkedIn of fintech products that I worked on, or talk about the various capabilities that I have in product management, maybe go to market and pricing for fintech products, and making your LinkedIn profile geared towards your focused job search will help you establish that credibility that you are a genuine player in this space and that you actually know a whole lot about this space and you would be a really good candidate for your future company. That's how you can really set up your job search the right way, by having the targeted profile, connecting with them, and having a great LinkedIn that supports your job search. Did that answer your question, Sejna?
Yes, it did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So as we wrap up here, make sure to create a targeted job search strategy and then use that strategy to connect with your prospects and develop a really faster way to have a successful job search. Thank you. And please stay connected with us in the mastermind sessions that are sponsored by Mentor Cloud. If you'd like to register for future sessions, please go to mentorcloud.com/MCE, and we will see you at our future mastermind session. Thank you for joining us.
Okay then. Thanks, Abhijit.